You know what the world needs more of? Nzxt H1 videos. There's only been 12,000 of them posted online so far, so what the heck, I'm gonna toss mine in the ring. A little late to the party on this, but I swear to you, it'll be worth it. This is the Nzxt H1. For those of you who don't know, Nzxt's kind of, I'm gonna call it a combo case. Not only do you get the chassis for $350, I hope you get more than a case for that price, you also get a 140mm liquid aereo and a 650 watt 80 plus gold fully modular power supply built in, already included with pre-wired cables and everything. When you consider that you're getting 3 components here, which is nearly half of the parts you need to build a full system, the price starts to make a little bit more sense. So today we're gonna be building a monster system inside of this thing, because this is a small case, don't get me wrong, it's definitely a lot smaller than your average mid-tower, but it's not so tiny here, let's, so this is like a true small form factor case. This is the Dan Case A4 without any panels or components in it, but you get the idea. It's a lot smaller, even if you stand it up voidically. So it's roughly the same dimension that way, but height-wise and thickness, it's a lot smaller. So the H1 is compact for just your average computer case, but it's a little bit on the large side if you're talking about a small form factor chassis. So that means we can cram more stuff into it, and the build process should be even easier, especially with all the pre-wiring Nzxt's already done for us. I'm just diving right in. I'll go over the parts as we go about the build. It looks like this side panel comes, I've only seen like 17 of these H1 videos, so I kind of already know my way around it. So that side panel comes off, it's tempered glass, it's got like a slight tint to it, looks very nice. Very high quality panel, same sort of thing that you can expect from their existing H series cases. Apart from that one glass slab, the other 3 sides of the case are fully ventilated. You can see from top to bottom, left to right. There's really not much going on at the bottom here. We'll talk about that more later, but this is where your motherboard IO shield goes, and then your cables route out the back, as you'll soon see. On the very top, just while we're here, power button, USB 3, USB Type-C, and audio combo jack. So the ventilated side that's opposite the tempered glass panel also comes off in the same fashion. I really like these push pin tabs that they have, kind of a Lee and Lee vibe going on here, but I'm glad that they've adopted it. It's very nice, completely toolless, look at that. And once these 2 panels are removed, you just prop the case up like this and lift. Give me a moment here. Oh baby, yeah, take it off. So here's a look at the shell that we just took off, and you can see right away that we do have these removable magnetic dust filters. Yeah, there we go, comes off easy. There is no filter, however, on this guy, which I think is because this is where a lot of exhaust is happening as opposed to intake, so you're not gonna get much dust buildup anyway. In fact, the only 2 fans in the whole system are this power supply, which is mounted as an intake, of course, so it's gonna be pulling air from this side of the case, and that 140mm fan attached to the liquid aereo that looks to be mounted as an intake, if I can see the blades correctly. So it'll be pulling fresh air through this side. Obviously, this is one of the ventilated sides of the case, and then the aereo will be pushing hot air, particularly when it's under load, directly at the motherboard. So the motherboard actually mounts right where this piece of foam is. And with this fan directed straight at it, I'm not too concerned about CPU temperatures because it's a liquid cooling system. If it was a heatsink and air cooler, it'd be a totally different story. But I would advise getting a motherboard that has decent cooling on the VRMs. If it's known to overheat in that area, then it could be made even worse with this aereo fan blowing hot air straight onto it. And as you can see, the motherboard tray pretty much cuts the system in half. Well, I guess it's more like a 60-40 split or whatever. You get the idea. This is more or less a dual chamber design where you've got the aereo, the motherboard, and the power supply on one side with the graphics card on the other. And you can see we've got plenty of room for activities here. I mean, even the longest GPUs out there will probably fit in this thing. Just be aware that you can't fit a 3-slot card in here. It's got to be 2.5 slot or less. Oh, this button feels good. That's a good button, Nzxt. Good job on the button! But what do you say we start building this thing? We've got a lot of work to do, people. Starting with the motherboard, we've got an X570i Aorus Pro Wi-Fi from Gigabyte. This is a fantastic mini ITX board on the X570 platform. It's got great power delivery, which is why we're also going to be slotting in a 3950X Ryzen 9 16-core 32-thread processor. That's right. You're like, he's going there. So let's get these 2 guys married, shall we? Oh, boom. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, did you really think I had him still in the box? AM4 socket coming in hot with the questionable arm gesture. Okay, now we get the 3950X right here. Gotta be careful here. Nice and slow. Really gotta use caution when doing this one-handed.
That's what she said.
Keep your arms and pins inside the board at all times. And the first step to our overkill PC is now complete. Memory, what do we have for memory? Oh, memory! So I picked up this. So you want to do low profile memory here because you can see there's just not a whole lot of clearance with the AIO fan being so close to the motherboard. So we're going with the low profile kit of Corsair's Vengeance LPX GDR4 at 3200 speed. This is a 2x16 gig kit, giving us 32 gigs total. Oh. Now I know I usually recommend 3600 speed for Ryzen, but in this case, the only low profile kits at that speed had really terrible cache latencies, and this one actually has a really good one at 16, CL16, so the timings are much better even though the frequency is a little slower, so it should balance it out a bit. We're doing it! Memory sticks, memory sticks. You know, on a serious note, if you're gonna do a balls to the wall mini ITX system, you might as well go with 16 gig sticks because you only got 2 DIMM slots to work with, people. If you go 8 and 8, there ain't room to grow, honey. Or if you're really crazy, you can go with 32 gig sticks, but that's just a too much. Next, we're gonna attach some storage to this sucker. So we've got the Corsair MP600 NVMe PCIe Gen 4x4 because we've got X570, you might as well take advantage, brother. M.2 SSD, 2 terabytes. That's right. So we've got this really nice heatsink that already comes pre-fitted onto the drive. We're gonna remove that and instead use the active cooling solution and heatsink that's built into the motherboard. This little fan here, very cute. Look at that cute fan. Oh, it's so cute. Now the only thing that could really step up our game in the storage department is if we had another one. Yeah, so we're gonna be putting another 2 terabyte NVMe drive, the exact same model, on this board as well because we have a slot on the back. This one doesn't have a built-in cooling solution, so we are gonna be using the stock heatsink for this drive. 4 terabytes of NVMe PCIe Gen storage. It's enough to give anyone a stiffy in a jiffy. Now I'm not gonna lie, I do have a small concern that the drive on the back of the board with the heatsink and all will not fit properly because even though we have a generous cutout on our motherboard tray, bear in mind the GPU goes right here, right up against it. So I don't know exactly how much clearance we'll have between the heatsink on the drive and the actual backplate of the GPU. I'm really hoping the motherboard stand-ups give us the clearance that we need, but we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little SSDs, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little SSDs. Here we go. That boy. Got these little tabs on the side. Oh, of course, yeah, you made it so easy. You made it so easy for me. Yoink. It's only a $500 paper-thin stick. Don't be nervous, Kyle. Oh, M.2 screw, I lose you too much all the time. This thing's badass. Look at this. There's no actual thermal pads here. I thought there would be some thermal pads, but it's just a fan. You just get your own dedicated fan right on top of the drive. Ain't that nice? Special treatment. It's kind of funny, most of the building for this system is gonna be outside of the case, because once we install it, it's all pre-wired. It's gonna take like a matter of seconds to get this hooked up. Oh baby, all right, let's see the backside. Woohoo. Cause I'm NVIDIA and me, I'm dynamite. Blazing fast speeds, read and write. This alone, just what's in my hand here, about 2,000 bucks. Okay, we finally made our way to the case. Remove screws pointed by arrows and lift to open. Check for cable and tube. Okay, there's some arrows pointing to some screws. If all 35 videos that I watched on this thing are accurate, then this should fold down like so. Whoa, cool, fancy stuff. All right, so we've got some foam, good packaging. Nice water block. Position tubes outwards before closing, got it. Oh, it sounds like a dolphin. Flipper, is that you? All right, let's do a peel test on this guy, see how much residue he leaves behind. Being very careful now. Oh, okay. There's some residue there, but it's not terrible. Does it come off easy? Ooh, it doesn't come off easy. Let me get the goo gun. Goo gun, hoo-hoo. Chew the goo. Oh yeah, it works so good. Goo gun for all your needs. I'll put a link in the description in case you guys want some of this stuff. It's really good when you're building PCs and then manufacturers put stickers on stuff and you take the sticker off, there's a bunch of goo. You want a gun? Get the goo gun. Goo gun changed my life. I found God, love, and endless wealth. Thanks, goo gun. It does work really well though. I'll put a link in the description, mama. Okay, we're gonna do the responsible thing and pull out here. Take the bag off these front panel cables and then remove this foam piece. See you later, sucker. All right, so obviously the AIO is already kind of pre-installed here, but you still have to mount the water block to the board, to the actual CPU. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Let's go ahead and put this down again. Is that a good angle? That's either the best angle or the worst angle. Okay, that's going in here. All right, make sure I've aligned it. Motherboard IO is facing down. That's looking real nice, Eddie. And if I mount this like so, okay, it's a bad angle. Also, it looks like we've got the Intel bracket on here, which we're gonna have to remove and swap it out with the AM4 bracket. Oh, I think I cracked a rib. This is the AM4 one. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's firm. Oh wait, I did that wrong. Other way. Oh God. All right, flip. There we go. Now the base plate will reach the IHS, man. I'd love to hear a Jamaican tech reviewer. I should probably look that up right after this. All right, we need a steady hand, doctor. There we go. Oh yeah. There it is, baby. Work it, girl. Ooh, that went in easy peasy. Now I chose to mount the water block before actually mounting the board to the case. I'm sure you could do it either way just as well. I just like having that extra give, being able to move the board around a little bit if needed, but it's up to you, boo. Oh shoot, I dropped a screw. There's a screw in here. This is the most nerve-wracking thing ever, when you drop a screw in the radiator. Oh, and there's a fan in the way. Oh, thank God for the magnetic screwdriver. That a hero lies in you. All right, now I'm gonna mount the motherboard before I start plugging in everything else. And this is the coolest thing. These are all the screws that come included with this case. That's it, 4 motherboard screws. This is, all right, marketing wisdom for you, NZXT. Just take a picture of this one bag with 4 screws, and just have a caption that says, these are the only screws that come included with the case. I guarantee, people will spread the legs of their wallets right open. Okay, I'm probably getting a little too excited here, but you know what I mean. It's pretty cool. Mounting the motherboard is very familiar. It's pretty much what you'd expect with any other mini ITX build. And motherboard installed. You know, while we're here, I'm just gonna install this PCIe riser cable, because it's just sitting here, you know? It's just ready. It's ready to go. You show up and he's like, we've been waiting for you, sir. Love it. Do I love it? I love it. All right, getting our front panel connectors all situated here. We got our USB 3.0 plugged in, and look at how good NZXT is. 1 connector for front panel. For your power button, for your LEDs, just 1. Just 1, baby. Oh, you guys are doing God's work. No cap, as the kids say. You know what? You know what's a good idea is to remove the memory sticks until the end, because they are kind of in the way in this tight little space. Now these cables are routed with a little bit of excess, just because, you know, depending on your motherboard, you might have your front panel connector right here, or it might be all the way over there. So they definitely give you enough length to cover any sort of situation. But if you do have some excess cable, you could just stick it up back here, and you might see this little thing here. It says, lift here to release. Whatcha? It's made of metal. But now you can see our cables are exposed. This makes routing even easier, so you can tuck away that excess wiring out of sight, out of mind. And when you're done, you just put the plate back. It's completely toolless. Our 24 pin, look, it's already right there. All you gotta do is flip it around. All right, I'm gonna need 2 hands for this bad boy. And cable management is already done. Look at that, it's revolutionary. I love these Velcro straps too. These Velcro straps are like very sturdy. There's 3 of them, boom, boom, boom. They could have skimped out on 1 or 2, but you get them all across the case. Very, very nice. And coming from the power supply, you can see they've also pre-wired your 8-pin EPS cable too, which I'm just getting really lucky right now because all my motherboard connectors are lining up with where NZXT has routed these cables. Oh boy, it's a PC miracle. Shut the up, Mickey. Now we can reinstall the DRAM. I saw this fine memory stick the other day and I was like, damn. And just like that, we're pretty much done working inside of this chamber. All we have to do is install the GPU, slap all the panels back on, and we're good to go. But there's one more thing I wanted to do before we actually wrap this side up, and that is, while I'm sure this is a perfectly decent fan from NZXT, this is an overkill build, so of course we have to max everything out whenever possible, which is why we're swapping it out for a Corsair ML140 Pro. Maglev, baby! Addressable RGB that you won't be able to see, but who cares? Screw, drive, the. All right, we've got the maglev installed. I did have to zip tie some excess cable because this is just a regular cable fan, so it's got a fairly long cable for a case this size, whereas the NZXT fan has a cable of a more appropriate length. But it's not a huge deal to just quickly zip tie that up. This is the LED cable coming off of the fan that we're obviously not using, just kind of tied that up as well. However, the pump cable that's coming off of the radiator, this guy, is a little on the short side. I wish they would have made this a little longer because in this particular motherboard, we only have 2 fan headers. The CPU fan header in this corner and the only other one in the complete opposite corner, which you see I've already connected a short extension to. Otherwise, the pump cable will not fit, even as you close the door. Like, the pump cable gets closer and closer to the header as you close, but then at some point, it starts going the other way as you stretch the cable backwards, and it starts going more towards the bottom of the case. So, this extension is required in our case, and it would have been nice if NZXT had included this, but they did not. This is just one that I had lying around, something to be aware of. But we'll just connect these lovebirds and let them hook up. Look how I'm doing this with one hand. I feel like a chameleon. I'm getting really good at this one-handed stuff. Woohoo! So tuck your cables in along with your water cooling hoses to make sure they're not in the way as you close the hatch. Now you can see just how close the fan is to the motherboard and the memory heat spreaders. It's tight, it's a tight fit, but hey, it means it's a good use of space too. It's time for GPU installation, and we got none other, than the Asus ROG Strix RTX 2080 Ti Gaming OC. Hills to the yeah. This is one of the larger 2080 Ti GPUs on the market, so it'll be a good showcase of just how much hardware this little case can fit. This is a big boy. This is a big old boy. And this is really the moment of truth as well to see if we're gonna encounter any clearance issues with the GPU and our M.2 heatsink right there. So it does look like it's gonna be a really close call. I'm actually not sure if this is gonna work. Let's see. Get the cables out of the way. Thumb screws. All right, here we go. Say a prayer for me. Oh, don't tell me this isn't gonna work. Oh, that's a tight squeeze. Oh no, it's not gonna fit. No, I don't think it works. It's not gonna fit, no. It's fitting, but it's not. The card is slotted in. If we power this thing, it's gonna work. But where the thumb screw should go on the expansion slots, it's not exactly lined up because the heatsink on our M.2 drive is pushing the card up just slightly. Oh, buddy. Look at the length though. We just barely cleared it. This is definitely the longest GPU you can put in this case. Anything past that, a millimeter more, will not fit. I'm sorry guys, I don't think we can have that M.2 drive in the back. Obviously we could just remove the heatsink and it would clear no problem, but then we risk the drive overheating and thermal throttling, especially being right up next to the GPU. Not the best place to be for something like that. So I'm gonna remove it. Oh, that's the tightest fit GPU I think I've ever had to deal with. Uh-oh. Did I box this in? There's a way in, there's a way out, okay? Oh, I got it. Oh, that was scary. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. All right, well, there you go. I'm doing stupid things, so you don't have to. Now you know not to mount an M.2 heatsink drive on the back of this board. Come on, Bubba. Let's go. Now, I would say you could still probably get away with putting an M.2 drive here as long as it wasn't super fast or known to get really hot. Like a SATA-based M.2 drive would be perfect back here because even though they're not nearly as fast as NVMe, they stay a lot cooler and don't run as high a risk of thermal throttling without a heatsink or active cooling. Okay, BitBoi's going back in. This is probably not a good idea, and I would actually advise people to stay away or avoid using this exact card, this exact model of card in this case, because while it can fit, it is just a little too snug for my liking. Look, I actually have to like press the shroud of the cooler up against the side of the case, which is resulting in a little bit of scratching. Totally fine for me because I'm actually planning to put a water block on this thing eventually for my personal system, but more on that later. Let's just get it in for now. It's like reverse birth. Be the connector. Oh yeah, I mean it fits. It barely fits, that's what she said. And then we have the cables here. All right, coming up here, we're gonna pop this plate off again to store some of our excess cables because they actually have two sets of PCIe cables here. There's an 8-pin and an 8-pin, dual 8-pins here, and another dual 8-pin over here. We only need one of those, obviously, so we're gonna tuck those away. And there's also a SATA connector. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about the drives. There's like SSD trays in here. There's two SSD trays that we obviously did not use because we're using M.2 everything, but you can see right there, there's two 2.5 SSD trays, and they're completely toolless. You just slot them in and wire it up. It's that easy. And if you're not using them, they make a great little area for stashing cables. The GPU plugs, okay? It's a little hard for you guys to see, I know, just bear with me. All right, there's one. There's the other, and we're done. Yes, look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. Such a friggin' beast, man. This is ready to rock. This exact configuration is good for gaming, video editing, streaming to the nth degree. And it will absolutely excel in all those areas. Phenomenal stuff that you can just fit this inside of such a small case. Why don't we go ahead and put this guy on just to make sure it all fits. Yokie dokie, just like that. Ooh, baby. And the other two side panels, the glass has to go on this side. It's the only way it's gonna work because it's got special pins and special grooves that match those pins. And then this guy on the back, let's just flippy dippy, just like that. We are come. Woo! And the final step. Oh yeah, can't forget about this. Oh, God, oh! That really sucks. Thank God we have Guga. All right, this is a little invasive, but here's the underside of the case, just so you can see what's kind of going on here. We've got our pass-through for the power supply, and the I/O for our motherboard and graphics card. Got it all hooked up, let's fire it up. Okay, and 3, 2, 1. Oh, crap, I should have removed that sticker. That's dirty. That's dirty. That's okay, I'm gonna disassemble this in 5 minutes. All right, do we have a post? Post. All right, cool. There it is, guys. A very lovely case to build in. I mean, the build process could not have been smoother with all the pre-wiring, all the pre-installed components. It was just a breeze. Probably the easiest system I've ever put together, and a small form factor build, no less. That's just unheard of. So this is definitely a game changer for small, compact cases, and I really hope this is a trend that we see other manufacturers follow suit. Now, admittingly, while it is compact, I would not use this for on-the-go purposes, just because it's a little bit bigger than what I usually like to travel with, and it's got tempered glass. I mean, that's just asking for it. There are definitely other cases out there that are way better for traveling with IMO. For example, the Nzxt A4, one of many. If you did want to just downsize your current system at home, if you wanted to leave this on your desk, it's just stationary. This case clearly allows you to squeeze in a tremendous amount of hardware in a very small footprint compared to your average mid-tower chassis. So in that sense, NZXT, job well done. You guys did it again. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think about the H1 down below, and toss a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Also check out Bitwit.tech, our merchandise store. Thanks to everyone who's already purchased something from there. If you haven't yet, it's a great way to give back to the channel to help support what we do here at Bitwit. Check it out, guys. There's a lot of new stuff there. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We've got a lot more stuff coming right up, so stay tuned. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see y'all in the next video.